All right. All right, so we have Lolita and Agnes back. Welcome back.
Yes.
We know you
Just
like
two of us.
you know, I think other people take other classes, so they probably come back and watch the recording.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's how it happens. But you can tell your friends about it, you know, if you want them to join. So this is
the Lisa.
what?
That's fine.
I said my friend is Lisa.
Oh, your friend is Lisa? It's
Yes.
not Lolita?
It's
Lolita
about
Lisa.
Oh, you call her Lisa.
She has
Okay.
two names.
Two names, lucky girl. Okay, so this class is about zippered pouches, okay? And we'll make our standard zipper pouch, and then maybe we'll make a triangular pouch, and maybe we might make a one zipper pouch. So some of you might have a lot of zippers laying around. Now's the time.
One.
What, you only have one?
But one zipper, I took it from one skirt, old skirt.
Okay, so you're upcycling. That's great. Okay, so here's a pouch, just a basic pouch, and you know, a zipper, you know, nothing. But the cool thing is these are lined. Now, sometimes you'll see on YouTube, you know, like tutorials about pouches, but they're not lined, so it's like kind of ugly and hairy on the inside. But these are completely lined, and you can give yourself a surprise lining, but it's a good way to use up your scraps, especially if you're a quilter, right?
Yep.
Okay, so oh, I forgot to introduce myself. Hello, everybody. I'm Helen, and I teach at the Dorothy Benson Senior Services Center. Okay.
Okay.
You have to say that. Sorry about that. So we made a bunch of these, you know, because I thought it would be good practice for, you know, because, you know, zippers aren't fun to install, period. So I thought this would be a fun way for them to get used to zippers, because it's not like a garment zipper at all, you know. You can see the zipper tape right here, all right? But I thought it would like kind of get them to not be afraid. So here's one I made. And then here's another one, but this one, I wouldn't do this because, you know, not everything has to be done on the machine. This was just too much work, and it was too much work fiddling with it. So I wouldn't do it this way. I would attach these later by hand if you really needed to have a tab, okay? So here's another one, and I used two fabrics because I only had a little bit of this one. Actually, this is a Japanese kimono fabric. So I only had a little remnant. And then I lined it with Japanese yukata summer kimono cotton fabric, okay? And I think this is a zipper I took off of something. Yeah, it looks like an old zipper I took it somewhere. Okay, so I have these two pouches, and you can make them bigger too, you know, you can make them bigger depending on the zipper. Now, when we did this at Benson, it turns out it's better to add, you can't really see it here, but it's really better to add an extra fabric here, because when you turn it inside out, it just gets really bulky on the ends. I don't have it on this one, okay? I have a little bit on this one, okay? So it just makes it easier to reduce the bulk. And it instantly, you line the pouch, and then there is an opening on the lining where you have to stitch it closed, because that's where, you know, I should have done this by hand, but I did it by machine as a demo piece. You turn it inside out there, okay? So it's kind of lots of fun. Now, if you, the length of your zipper kind of determines your size. You can use a longer zipper and cut it, all right? But you want to cut it at the zipper end. If you make, and all of these have box pleat bottoms, so this one is standard size box pleat, okay? If you make it wider on the bottom, like this wide, it shrinks the bottom. So this is more of this kind of a triangular shape. See it? Okay. So we're going to try one today, and I am going to make a bigger one. Okay. So what you need, the ingredients you need is a zipper. Now, I did order a bunch of purse zippers and they just have a bigger catch. That's all. Yeah, I think so. Okay, so this is just a nylon zipper. You're gonna need 2 pieces of fabric, about 5 inches by 2 inches. Okay,
5 by what?
5 by 2 inches. Okay, so you just need some scrap, but not heavy duty, just something soft. All right, and then you're going to need your outer fabric right here. Okay, so on this one, the way I measured it, because I wanted it to be big and I want it to be the size, I want to use a zipper completely, you know, I'm just going to put all my, like, when I travel, if I travel, I wanted to put my hairbrush, you know, my makeup, what is it? What else do you put in here? You know, shower cap, everything like that. And I kind of wanted it because I had been using 2 smaller size and it just got complicated. So I'm just going to use, oh yeah, you need like Q-tips and, you know, that kind of thing. Maybe face soap and all that. So I wanted it about this. So I wanted it, hold on. Okay, so I have extra on the ends, okay? A little bit extra, about, I don't know how much, about 1 inch extra on each end, okay? Now, that's my outside fabric, and then my lining fabric, and you kind of want to keep it the same fiber content. So this is going to be my lining fabric, all right? And you want to cut it exactly the same size as your outer fabric. So I think I cut this, it should be the same size, all right? So on the bags, I tend to want to use a brighter color or a lighter color fabric on the inside so I can see, okay? You know, it's just so hard to see sometimes when you open a bag and it's dark inside. So I usually do a lighter color fabric, but this one, this is the only one I could find right away. Okay, so you have to have the outside fabric and the inside fabric the exact same size. All right. First step is you take your little piece of fabric, the one that's about 2 inches by 5 inches, it doesn't really matter. And you have to press down about 1/4 inch, okay? Don't make it more than that, all right? About 1/4 inch. And these are going to be the turning inside out points. So you want to stay away from that metal, all right? And let me see if I can do this. This part's a little bit fidgety. Okay. I'm going to pin this down. And so I've got a pin down, okay? And then I'm going to stitch close to the edge here, real close to the edge. So I'll do that right now. Let's go this way. Now, hold on just a second here. All right, sorry about that. I have a cat that's acting up today. All right, now, the reason why you want to stay away from that metal is because it's going to get in the way of the presser foot. I will use a stitch that is about 2.5 on this one, okay? So I'm going to go real close to the edge. And you need to go very slowly over the zipper. If you have a metal zipper, you need to walk it. Walking means turning the flywheel like this. When you get to that metal part, you know, the teeth or whatever, there might be some metal, okay? Or if you're afraid to go over through that nylon, go slowly. No need to go, no need to zoom, okay? So I used, once again, I use contrasting thread so you can see what it looks like. And you want to snip, as you sew, you want to snip all the hairy extra thread. All right, I think I caught both sides, okay? This is the side that's going to show, so you want to be neat here. This one, you know, it's a bit wonky, but it's not going to show. All right, now this side, it's hard to do because if you notice the zipper, whatever this thing's called, makes this part splay out. So you kind of want to get close. You can't do it like this, okay? There's no way you can do it like that. You kind of want to do it about that much. So I'm going to open this a little bit and make sure it's all straight and aligned. And this part is fidgety and this part is tricky. And once again, you want to stay away from that little metal end, okay? Because if you get too close, when it comes up to the presser foot, what happened is the presser foot's going to push it away. Okay? So here we go. And this part takes me a long time because it just is fussy. And you have to kind of like leave a space open for the, I forgot what that's called. Gosh, whatever that thing is. Okay, and let them make it stay. So this is what it looks like right now. And I'm gonna stitch again. So see that little space I have right there? All right, and go slowly once again. No need to zoom around on this one. Pull the pin out because the pin's gonna get in the way. And you do need to go slow because sometimes this wiggles out of position. Okay. And once again, get into the habit of cutting any extra thread because they will get in the way later. All right, let's hope I remember how to do this. All right, this zipper pouch sometimes confuses me if I haven't done it in a long time. All right, I've got two pieces of fabric the same length. It's kind of going sideways, so I'm going to split this. Well, I don't know. I have to split it down the side. Okay, because it shouldn't loop like this. Okay, so I'm going to tear it down. Okay. All right. Most cottons you can probably tear it. Linens don't like to tear it because they're woven with very long fibers. If it's cheap linen, it'll be a bunch of short fibers and it's easy to tear, okay? But usually a good fabric doesn't like to tear. Okay. All right, so now we're going to work on the front fabrics. Oh. Get that out of the way. All right. So I am going to take one side of the front fabric because I, split it in half. Now, you might have one that if it's long, if it's long this way, you can, loop it here, but mine was going sideways, so I had to cut it in half. That means it's going to be shorter. Okay. Now, you want to put your zipper down and leave about that much. What's that? About maybe 1/4 of an inch. I don't know. But don't get too close, okay? And you kind of want to center your zipper. All right, this has enough room. And I will, I'm actually going to pin it right here at the beginning. Okay. Now, if you don't know if you have it on the right side or if you did it right or not, after you pin it, you can kind of like see what it's gonna look like. All right, and I got it on the right side. Okay, so this would be the finished product this way. Okay, now I'm going to stitch, but I'm not going to get real close to the teeth. Zippers have lines on them as a guide. So I'm probably going to stitch it because, you know, I kind of want the pink to show as a design element. So I'm probably going to stitch about the midway, and you can just follow that line. All right. Oh, this guy's going to get in the way, this tab thing. So I'm going to move it down a little bit. And then we're going to sew this and see what happens. And you want to start sewing all the way from the top. Okay, and I'm going to use a 3 length, number 3 length. And I'm going to aim for that center spot. Okay. So we're aiming for that center spot. And I'm trying to keep this, that you can't see that one. Make sure it's at the same distance away from the edge. Okay, so it got caught on that metal part. Oh, I'm not using a zipper foot. So what happened right here, I measured wrong. Where am I? Okay, so the edge of my presser foot won't go over that coil. And so that's as close as I'm gonna get. And it kind of pushed it, okay? So we're just gonna have to let that dictate. I'm not exactly in the center, it kind of got pushed. So it's kind of wonky there. I could take it apart and redo it, but I'm just gonna leave it. All right. So you come to this tab, and the tab's gonna be in the way. You can try to move it, and some machines, after you raise your presser foot, you can raise it a tad bit more, and you really need 3 arms. Okay, and you can just move that. All right. Try to keep that the same distance. Now, if you're sewing a garment, you wouldn't just jump in and stick a zipper on it. You would prepare the fabric by stabilizing it and all that kind of stuff, and maybe even basting the zipper. But this is just a zipper pouch, so I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, and make sure your presser foot is at the highest position. Cut off the excess thread. Cut off the excess thread on this side, because otherwise you'll have to end up with a hairy mess.
Oh my God.
You know, all over the place. And you'll have thread stuck all over your shirt. Okay, so I did my first pass, okay? And I always check it because I mess up a lot of times trying to get in. So that's what it's gonna end up looking like, all right? Now we have to do the other side. So in order to do the other side, I'm going to put this on. Okay. So I've got this guy, right? Now you see this is the correct right side. I'm going to put the right sides together. Let's see, let's hope I'm doing this right. I am going to flip it over. So I've got that. And then I do need to match the edges as close as I can with the other fabric. And I have to make sure that this distance is the same as this. Okay, so that's just going to make it, if you don't do all that, it just gets really wonky as you go along. So I'll press that. Okay, now, once again, I always double check because I kind of have dyslexia, so I mess up a lot. So what I'll do is I'll pin it, and then I'll open it up to make sure it's going to be correct and it looks right. All right. So let's go ahead and stitch this. same number 3 length. Stitch, and once again, we start all the way from the end of that guy, aim for the almost center at this point. See where is this? And then make sure this piece, the one you already sewn, doesn't get caught. Okay, just kind of like look and make sure it's not get caught in there. Okay, once again, that metal thing, it gets in the way. Okay, I'm making sure this isn't caught underneath. So it looks like, because I'm not using a zipper foot, and either that or I could have moved the needle a little bit to the left. But as usual, I didn't think about it. So it's not exactly stitching down the center of that strip right now. It's okay. Now I'm going to keep that needle in, raise my presser foot up, unzip and move that tab. I'm going to have to push up on that presser foot some more. Okay, so I moved it. And then finish sewing the rest. And that little metal piece gets in the way. Go all the way down. Okay. Wow, that part was kind of easy to do. All right. Okay. So now we have, if we pretend this is what it's supposed to look like, okay? So now we have the zipper, and that pink is going to show, and I did that on purpose as an accent, right? So now we have to put the lining on. And where did it go? All right. And when you do this, make sure your design is facing the right way. So that's, you know, that has a one way, you know, it's not upside down. All right. Now, this guy is the lining. And he has to go, let's see. Okay, so he is going to go, let's see, I don't think this is right, maybe. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So this lining is going to go, yeah, it's going to cover this mess right here, not this mess, this one, okay? So this guy has to match that fashion fabric. It has to be exact, all right? But you pin it on the side where you can see this, the stitching of the outside fabric. And it has to match exactly. You have, it just gonna, that's really important. So you gotta find the end and then match it exactly. So I am going to pin this one all the way because I don't want it to shift at all and surprise me later. I'll have to move the pins as I sew. Okay, so I've got that. All right, and then I've got that pinned, okay? Now I'm gonna test it. Okay, so if I open and pretend this is the finished bag, then, and then if I open this, the lining should be over here and covering up the mess there. Okay, that should work. So once again, I'll show that to you. And you got to make sure you don't get all the other fabric trapped in there. Okay. So once again, the lining is attached to this outside fabric, but I'm pinning it on this side because I'm going to stitch on I'm going to stitch on the same line because I can't really see the zipper where it is anyway. So that's where I'm going to stitch, okay? And you could just stitch over that same line. Yeah, what you have to be careful is, don't forget that little tab that's going to be in the way. And I'm gonna have to open this up and move the tab. Okay, I'm coming up to the tab here. Okay, needle down, presser foot up. Look for the tab. Somewhere in there. Reach in, look for the tab. Okay, and then I'm gonna move the tab again. Okay, I just moved it all the way to here. So my tab is, there it is, right there. Okay. Just stitching over the same line. Moving the pins as I stitch, making sure this edge is even, all right? Even the two layers of fabric are even. And let's see. So raise your raise your presser foot up, highest position, get rid of the excess thread. Now we have to do the other side, but we're gonna double check because we don't wanna we don't wanna mess up the other side and then have to rip out. I hope I didn't mess up. Okay, so if this is the bag, okay, and then when I open it, okay, that lining is there. Now we need a lining here to cover up this mess. All right, to do that, I'm going to get this straightened out, all right? And my lining, where did that go? Oh, there it is, okay. Now, the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to say the lining should look like this. And this part should end up looking like this, okay? I do that. And then this is what I have to do because I get it so confused. And then I carefully move it there, flip it over. Then now I know I'm sewing those two pieces together, and that's that leftover fashion fabric, outside fabric. Okay, so once again, these two have to match perfectly. Make sure you don't have all the fabric caught underneath. And then I'm going to follow that same stitching line. So I will pin this and I will match the ends here because I don't want it to shift. Kind of pull it. Okay. Make sure it's exact. Okay, so this is important that your two pieces of fabric are cut exactly because everything else has to be exact. And I don't know what this mess is. I must have torn this wrong. Okay. So this here. Okay, now make sure nothing is caught in between, that everything is free. I'm going to move the zipper tab halfway. Okay, and make sure nothing is stuck or caught in between. I'm only sewing the lining with the zipper sandwiched in there and then the outer fabric. All right, so here we go again. And we're stitching right on the same line. All right. See this? and sometimes, you know, you might not be exactly on that line, as long as you're right next to or super close, it's okay. So I come up to the tab, I have my needle down, press the foot up, reach in, look for the tab, okay? And then on my machine, the presser foot goes up a little extra, okay? If yours doesn't, you're just gonna have to try your best, all right? Make sure your presser foot's down. Okay. Okay, raise your needle up. Okay. So now, just a second. So you want to double check it again. So that's the lining. Let's find the inside. Okay. So right now your bag isn't stitched up, but if it is, it would look kind of like that. And you would open it up and it should be very clean on the inside. Okay, the end of the zipper and all the hairy fabric is hidden. Clean on that side too. All right. Okay. So far, so good. And I'm just, I don't like these threads hanging around, so I'm just gonna clip them. These snips are really good. They have spring on them, so, and they're super sharp. All right, now we're going to zip it up right now. And then we're going to, hold on, another thread driving me crazy. Okay. So my picture is facing the right way. You see it's the Eiffel Tower. If I take this to Paris and if I get lost, I can open up my bag and look at the map. Not really, but. Okay, now we're going to open it up. And we've got lining to lining, fashion fabric to fashion fabric, okay? The zipper in the middle. And you can pull on it, but it's not going to go anywhere. All right, now I am going to, you kind of have extra fabric here, you know, the green thingy. So what you want to do is that I think moves up, okay? What you want to do is kind of tuck that towards the fashion fabric. You want to match the stitching lines, okay? Actually, this guy's in the way, so let me cut him off first. All right, it gets cut off because I don't need that extra thing anymore. Okay. All right, so now we have, I'm just gonna kind of fold it like that, all right? This guy, the pin, hold on just a second, let's see. I am going to mute you guys for now. Okay, so I'm going to take a pin and about, let's see, yeah, about 1/2 inch away. I'm going to match up the two stitching lines. Okay, so I've got that matched up, the two stitching lines, and pin it, right? I'm going to do the same to the other side. Let's see, this little guy, I'm gonna fold it, tuck it in the front fabric. All right, I'm going to match this center line about 1/2 inch away with this, with the stitching line on the other side. All right, now, looks like I was a little bit off here. Hopefully that doesn't give me problems. Right now you want to kind of pin here, and pin here, okay? Because we're gonna sew that. Oh, I don't know why that doesn't match, but it should be okay. Huh, all right. I'm just gonna fudge it. That's really off. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm just pinning and matching that. We might have to go over our time limit because I really want to finish this one. So if you need to go somewhere, you can watch the ending later. Okay, I am going to match this guy too. All right, now this guy, it has to have a little opening somewhere. So let me pin this. At this point, you need to reach inside and unzip your zipper at least halfway. Where's my tab? Because when you turn this inside out, where is my tab? Oh, on the wrong side. Okay. Anyway, you need it. Oh, this isn't even matching. Why isn't it matching? Something's not right. Okay, I have to repin that. It's not right. Okay. You need to reach in on the fashion fabric side and unzip your zipper at least halfway. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to turn this inside out. And I don't know why my fabric isn't matching. I must have messed up somewhere. Very odd. Okay, it's a little bit off here, like a lot actually. All right, you want to match this side, the lining side. And you're going to leave an opening either here or on the bottom here. Most likely you're going to leave it here, but don't get close to the bottom corner right here. And you're going to leave an opening about at least 2 inches. Okay, that's about that much. Yeah. And this guy is not right either. Sometimes if your fabric is inexpensive, it's off grain and it'll like get weird on you. Okay, well, that's as best as I can do. Okay, so don't forget to leave an opening here. So I'm going to start stitching. Let's see. I'm going to start stitching at the opening and about 1/2 inch away. Again. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to have an opening here. And it's not, yeah, it's about 1/2 inch. Now, make sure this bunched up place, go slowly here, okay? And the fabric is shifting and moving it, so this is where the bamboo skewer comes in handy. Now, once you make one of these, if you continue to make it on the same day, you go fast. Okay, so now we're cooking here. All right. Needle down, and you don't have to worry about the corners, okay? Because the corners are going to end up somewhere else. whatever distance seam allowance you give this, it has to match on the other side, or the lining can be just a tiniest bit smaller. And you don't have to miter the corners at all. Okay, needle down. Lift your presser foot with it. And when you come up to this thick area, go slowly. So I'm using a number 2 needle. I mean, not number 2, number 12 size needle. And I could have used the 10, but I knew I was going to have that thick area, so I switched to a 12. This is just cotton fabric. Okay, so I'm going to give this, it's too big. One more stitch. Okay, we're almost there. Right here, I'm a little bit off, so I'm just going to try to make it about the same as that. Okay, now I need to leave the opening and back stitch. Okay. Done here. All right, now here comes the fun part. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just clip the corner a little bit just to make it easier for you to see here. What you want to do is open the 2 layers, take that, see if you can take it apart. Sometimes it's not that easy. I don't know why it's so hard. All right, this is driving me crazy. There we go. All right, so that's the corner, right? Okay, what you're going to do is open it up and make a triangle. You're going to go all the way to that point, okay? And you're going to make a triangle, but that seam line and this seam line has to match. So you temporarily put a pin in there, okay? So you pull this apart until it, as far as it goes. And you match the seam allowance. I mean, yeah, the lines, okay? You do that to all 4 sides. And to make it easier, I'm just going to clip, you don't have to clip the corners, but it just makes it easier visually for you. So I'm going to clip and I'm going to go up to the point, okay? And I'm going to turn it this way because this guy's going that way. And you match the seam lines. So this goes to a point. And right now, it doesn't matter where you stick it in. This is just a temporary holding position. Okay, same here. Okay, so another corner. Kind of pay attention to which way your seam is falling. All right, and then I'm going to match the stitching. Okay, and same here. Okay, now we're going to make the bottom a box, okay? I'm going to take this side, and what you're going to measure is the distance from the point, okay, to here. And then you're going to draw a perpendicular line. So that's going to be the bottom of my box. So I'm going to use this to, so mine's going to be, the bottom's going to be pretty big. So maybe I'll do half of that size. About, let's see, that's about 1/2 inch. So I have to find that point, okay? And then I'm going to put a pin where that point is going to be. All right. And if you need to, you can draw a line there. Let me see if I find a pencil. I'll just use the marker here. It has to be perpendicular. That's kind of important. Okay, so perpendicular means if your line's going this way, it has to be exactly, you know, that way. So a horizontal line. Okay, so even though it was just, I think that was 1/2 inch. Yeah, or whatever. Oh no, this is an inch. Okay, so an inch this way gives you a nice bottom. All right, so I'm going to do that to the other lining side. And it needs to be done on the bottom part so you can see. I'll show you what happens next. All right. So once again, this is an inch. And I need to put a pin there so I know where to mark it. All right. And this is going to go. And it has to be perpendicular to that vertical line. Okay, so it's going to go there. Now, what you need to do here, I'm going to have to pay attention here. Maybe I have it backwards. Okay, so you hold the bag like so. Hold on. Okay, so you got triangle, triangle. You bring the two triangles together. Okay, make sure nothing's bunched up. It's all laying flat. Okay, flat. And then this needs to be flat. So this point and this point is going to come together. You have to make it as close to as possible. And you need to pin this. You want to be able to see that line you just made. But you want to make sure everything's like smooth and flat and correct, okay? So we now have two triangles together, okay? And then you can see the line. So we do that to the other side. We're almost there, guys. Hang in there with me for a little bit. Okay, so make sure it's not bunched up, flat. All right. And then bring this side. This is the bottom of the bag. Make sure the points match. Okay. And then pin the two together. Okay, make sure everything's flat. Now we're going to stitch across. Okay, and you need to back stitch so it's reinforced. All right. All right. So I hope you can see this. So I'm going to bring it down here midway and back stitch. Now I'm going to walk it over the needle because I don't want to lose, I don't want this to shift or anything. So I'm going to do that. Okay. I'm following the line of mark. Now, once again, I'm going to walk it over that pin. Oops. And back stitch. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. And at this point, I'm not going to worry about the hairy threads, okay? So, and some people cut this off, but I leave it in for stability and kind of like, it kind of acts like interfacing. Okay, we do the exact same thing to the other side. And so if you make this out of thick fabric, you're gonna have a really hard time here. So cotton is good, linen's probably good. Always be careful with linen because it stretches. Okay, pull this out. Back stitch. Okay, now we're done. Now here comes the fun part. You have to find that little opening you made on the, this is what it looks like, a big mess, okay? You have to find that opening you made on the side of your lining. And here it is, my almost 2-inch opening. And then you reach in and you grab the lining in the zipper if you can, and try to pull that out through the opening. So first the lining comes out. And this part of my bag is bigger, so it's a lot easier, but on little bags, little pouches, it's a little bit harder. Okay, so I'm pulling it out, and you got to do it a little bit at a time. The lining, for some reason, the lining has to come out first. It's a lot of fabric bunched in there. Okay, and then I see the zipper. Okay, and the zipper is going to scare you because it looks like it's backwards, but it's not. This is the lining, so that's why you're seeing the back side of the zipper. Keep trying to get that out. Oh, I have a pin in here. That's not good. Okay, I had to reverse it again because there's a needle in here. Okay, yeah, make sure you take all your pins out because it'll be hard to take them out later. All right, back to pulling the lining out. Okay, it's slowly coming out. All right. And then shove that little fashion fabric in there. Okay, so what you're going to first see is the lining. Okay, so your bag is inside out, and this is why it's important to open that zipper, because if your zipper was shut, you have to figure out how to get that zipper open. Now you turn it inside out and fix all the corners. Now your bottom part, the lining is now attached to that box, to the fashion fabric. Okay, it's because you stitch the two together. Okay, so that makes it neat. Now you have to, I have a sewing awl, and I use this to fix the corners, okay? Just don't pull too hard. I haven't figured out how to do the corners perfectly, but this looks good enough. Okay, so that's one corner. Now, don't forget you had that hole that we made in the lining to turn this inside out. So you have to either stitch it by hand, or you can do it by machine if you want. Okay, so this is the bag. Now I'm too close here. All right, let me back up. So that's still too close, isn't it? All right, let me back up. So it's a big bag, and you open it, and there's the lining.
Oh, that's nice.
Isn't that cool? Okay, hold on.
Mhm.
Okay, we need to unmute you. Is it Agnes? Yeah, Agnes, you can unmute yourself if you want. Okay, so right here, I had that hole, right? Okay, I can either, carefully do this and just stitch it close, just that 2 or 3 inches,
Mhm.
or hand stitch it, okay? But this is really cool because it's instantly lined, and it has a box pleat on the bottom, so it's just a really nice way to do it. It is important to have that fabric, because otherwise trying to turn the zipper part is really hard.
Mhm.
But if you want to, you can sew a tab onto here. If you need a tab, to hold on.
Mhm.
You can-
Mhm.
Isn't that nice? And
Yeah.
I thought if you made, especially if you're a quilter, you're gonna have scraps, right?
Mhm.
You can make a bunch of small ones. And then, you can put gifts inside and, this whole thing might be a gift,
Yeah.
which is nice, I think. Any
Mhm.
questions? We actually made it in an hour. Wow, actually it was 55 minutes. All right, do we have any questions before I sign off? So
Mhm.
next time I see you, you're gonna have this done, right?
Okay. In the beginning, you
Mhm.
have to put your zipper in the right side or on the back.
Okay, my best advice is to watch the video again, because trying to explain it with words would just get confusing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, I think that might be the best way, because I don't know about you, but that's how I can do things, But now, if I wanted to, I can actually put a handle on this if I wanted to carry.
So what site you go to? Fulton County?
Uh, uh, Benson Center, it's in Sandy Springs on Roswell Road.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
To watch the video, you go to Fulton
Oh,
County
the video,
website.
yeah, you gotta go to YouTube, right? And then I think you type in Fulton County Senior Services.
Okay.
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 I
Okay.
think that's right, Agnes? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I
You
don't know how you
you're
find it.
teaching on the Benson? You on the Benson?
Yeah, but I'm not
It's
at
close
Benson,
to
I'm in the house.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
close to my house.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Like I said before, I had one student, she made one, she travels a lot, so she made one to put her hair dryer in and one for
Mhm.
shoes and,
Mhm.
and then another student said she wanted one to put all her underwear in, because, when when she goes through customs and when they open your suitcase, you don't want your underwear flying
Yeah.
out.
You never
So,
know.
yeah.
The flat can be deleted. You're gonna just have one underwear.
Be some embarrassing things. So, you know what I would recommend is you make one, because you're probably going to have a lot of questions, and then you could pop up again next week, and then we can troubleshoot. Okay,
Okay.
because
I
it
have
is
to
kind of
find.
confusing. So you kind of have to watch my video, put it on pause, and after that, go do exactly like I said. So the most important thing is that your two fabrics are the exact same size, and it's best if they're the same type of material.
Mhm. Mhm.
So maybe next time we'll make a little triangle thing. Those would make really cute gifts for children. Okay.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Okay.
all
Thank
right.
you.
Have fun.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the
Bye.
class.
Oh, no problem.
See
Bye-bye.
you at 1
See
o'clock.
you at 1 o'clock.
Oh, you're going to come back. Good. All right. We'll see you. Bye.
Okay. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
You're welcome.
Mhm.